So don't you ever in your life, like, just going in on me, y'all. Like, he was... What's up, family? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Roxy. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Show me love, show me love, show me love. You know, today's video is going to be about how I lost my dream job. Yes, y'all, I lost my dream job. I've been mentioning it in like previous videos, and I kept saying I was gonna do a video talking about it. So here we are. So I just want to get straight to it. So as y'all know, well, if you watched my first video, I am a A&M graduate. I graduated in 2017 with a degree in communications media and a minor in English. My concentration was radio/TV. I ended up getting an internship right after college. I know what y'all saying, like, you're not supposed to get an internship after college. Like, you're supposed to have an internship during college, which I did. I had an internship at a radio station during college because it was mandatory. But I'm not gonna lie, y'all, like, as an undergrad, I did not take undergrad serious, like, at all. It wasn't until my last semester when I really started to take school serious. So but anyway, so I graduated in 2017. I ended up moving back home. I lived like an hour and a half away, so it was nothing. Moved back in with my mommy, and I ended up getting an internship. So my internship, drum roll, I'm so lame. My internship was at a local radio station here in my hometown. It was the #1 radio station in the entire state of Alabama. So it was pretty lit. It was popping, period. I grew up listening to this radio station, so it was like a huge deal for me. So my internship was in promotions. So I started interning in May of 2017, and it was new to me, y'all. Like, being at that particular station was just like, it was just an amazing feeling at the time. I was an intern for 7 whole months. Keep in mind, most interns, they really don't last that long. Like, internships are really mainly like a summer thing. But y'all, I was so hungry. Like, I was so hungry. Like, I was up there every single day. Like, even when I wasn't supposed to be up there, I think I was supposed to like intern like 2 days a week. I was up there at that station literally every day, just trying to figure out what I could learn. Like, literally, I would just go knock on people's doors in the sales department. I would literally walk into like production rooms and like talk to the engineer. Like, I would just do whatever it is I needed to do to like learn everything. And so that's really what I did for that whole entire 7-month duration, was get on people's nerves, basically. So yeah, I was doing that, and obviously it didn't go unnoticed. So in December of 2017, guess what? Your girl got hired, and I was just like, oh shoot, y'all. Like, it was a party, honey. Like, I was like ecstatic. I remember telling like my family, I remember telling like my friends, and everybody was just super excited for me. Hell, I was excited. Like, it was like lit, y'all. So I ended up getting hired on in December of 2017 as a promotion assistant. And I didn't care, like, I didn't really care about how much it paid. Like, I didn't care. Like, I just wanted to be on the payroll, period. The initial tip, I wanted to be on air. Like, that is everybody's dream. Like, when you're working in radio, like, the goal was to be on air, like, to be heard. You know, that was the goal. But unfortunately, I was in the promotions department, which was cool because promotions was lit too. And it's like, with promotions, like, everybody, when you are listening to the radio, all you really think about is people. My shirt is so lazy. Like, this is my mom's shirt. I literally just put this shirt on for the sake of the video. Anyway, but what was I saying? Oh yeah. So everybody just thinks like, okay, when you're listening to the radio, you just think like of people being on air. Like, that's all you think about. You don't really think about what goes on behind the scenes. You don't think about like all the ads and all the commercials. And let me give y'all like a real tip right here. Like, radio makes money through commercials, period. Like, the commercials you hear on radio that you get tired of hearing all the time, that is how radio stations make their money, through sales, period. So basically, promotions, it's just like the back end of everything. my job description consisted of basically training and helping the interns, going to local van hits, going to remotes, and I'll post some pictures up in this video somewhere, y'all, just to show y'all that I'm legit, honey, because I don't lie. But basically being an assistant to my boss, which was the promotions director. So it was a very tedious job. Like, you just never knew what the day consisted of. It was so much fun and I loved it. Like, I think the best part about the whole entire job was obviously meeting celebs, obviously, but just going to all the concerts, just going out in public, just meeting new people, going to remotes, and just getting out there and literally just like just being yourself and just having fun and just basically like representing the station. Like, that was just the best part of it all. I built a name for myself, and that's another thing with working in radio. Like, if you want to like move up just in the industry of entertainment or radio, you have to make a name for yourself. And I try to do that to the best of my ability. And like, looking back at it now, like, it's like, oh my gosh, like, Rachael, what in the world? But I mean, you know, you live and you learn. And I tried doing like a podcast, and like I did photo shoots. I tried like changing my radio name a few times, because my radio name ended up being Radio Roxxy. And I told y'all in my first video how I got that name. So if you haven't watched that video, who is Roxxy, how I got the name Roxxy, then go check that out. But yeah, my name was Radio Roxxy. And it flew, y'all. It flowed so well. And like, everybody just knew me as Radio Roxxy, and it was just lit, y'all. It was just lit. So that is the name that I like to go by now, is Roxxy, just without the radio. But anyway, so as time went on, you know, the job was just what the job was. You know, it was fun. You know, I stayed busy. I was always busy. I was always either out in public, like I said earlier, at a remote, at a community service event, at an elementary school, doing pet rallies. Like, I was always doing something. Like, I was always busy, like literally every single day, y'all. Like, I kid you not, it was crazy, especially in the summertime. It was crazy. I remember vividly the day I got fired, y'all. And I remember like the last days of me leading up to being fired. This was probably, this was in 2018. So I didn't work there long at all. I probably worked there like on payroll, literally like 8 months at the most. Like, it wasn't even a full year. I think I was hanging out with one of my, with one of the interns. We were actually like in the production room, and we were like working on our air checks. If you work in radio, you know what an air check is. If you don't, y'all, reading is fundamental, look it up. But anyway, I was working on my air checks, and I was in the studio, in the production room, you know, just doing what I do. And one of my coworkers, he came in. He was a promotions assistant as well. He walked in, and he was a promotions assistant, but he also did overnight. So he used to voice track overnight. And he was really, really sick. I remember this literally like it was yesterday, y'all. He was super sick. And he came into the studio, and he was just like, you know, what you doing tonight? And I was just like, nothing. Like, more than likely, I'm gonna be up here, like where I'm always at. And he was just like, don't you want to voice track my show? And I was just like, heck yeah, like, yes. And before that, like before him asking me that, I was already working on my air checks with the program director, sending her samples of my air checks. And she was like just critiquing me and telling me what I need to do to get better. So I was already like working on it. I was also, I forgot to mention this, since I was up there all the time, the operations manager had asked me if I wanted to do the traffic, like the morning traffic or like the night traffic. And I was just like, oh my God, yes. So I was already training to do that too. So I felt like, at the time, I felt like I was ready. Like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was so thirsty to get on air. So of course, I felt like I was ready to voice track. And I mean, I didn't even think about like the consequences that came behind that particular action. I didn't even think like nothing of it. I just thought like, okay, I'm doing my coworker a favor. And I'm thinking like, okay, he brought the favor to me. He brought this to me. So I'm thinking he already went and asked like the manager and our boss. I'm thinking he already went and asked that at the time. Like literally, y'all, this is what I thought. And of course, I was just like, yeah, like, yes, like, I will do it for you. Like, it's a good opportunity for me to be on the radio and be heard. And so I ended up voice tracking it, y'all. I literally did it in like probably an hour. And I sent it to him, and he was just like, yeah, you did so good. Like, you did good. And I was just like, okay. And like, I was so excited, y'all. And oh my God, like I don't want to get emotional, but like, it does take me back to that day. But I ended up posting it on my Instagram. I just basically made like a little flyer, and I just basically said, you know, catch me on air from 12 midnight to 5 in the morning, yada yada yada. Like, I just made a flyer that had said that, basically just letting everybody know that they would hear me on air. And I remember posting it, and I had a side job at the time too, because everybody knows like radio doesn't pay that well, like especially if you're like just a promotional assistant like me. Like, they don't pay that well, and that's just the honest truth. But I had another side job, and I remember being at my side job. I remember getting a text message from my boss, and she was just like, call me ASAP. And I automatically like just like, oh shoot, like, am I in trouble? Like, but I didn't know, you know. So I ended up like walking to the side and calling her. And I called her, and she was just like, hey Roxy, I have such and such on the phone. Such and such was basically the operations manager, who is basically over everybody basically. And I was just like, okay. She's like, I'm about to click you in with him. So y'all, she clicks me in with him, and like instantly, y'all, he started like going in on me, y'all. Like, I mean, he was going in on me. I think he even like cussed at me a little bit, if I can remember. He did like curse at me, but I don't know, I can't remember. But he went in on me, and basically he was just saying like, who gave you permission to voice track on my station? Like, who told you can do that? And I was just like, I mean, you know, such and such, my coworker, such and such, you know, came to me and asked me to do it because he didn't feel well. And he was like, and you thought that was okay? You thought that was okay? You didn't think you were supposed to run that by me or such, like your boss? And I was just like, I mean, I thought he had already did that. Like, why are y'all coming at me? Like, why aren't y'all coming at, you know, him as well? Because I mean, I wasn't trying to throw him under the bus, but I'm like, okay, like, he asked me to do this. I'm thinking I'm doing a good thing. Like, I thought I was doing a good thing. And he was just like, you had no right to do that. You need to delete that post that you made on Instagram. You will never be on my radio station. You will never. So don't you ever in your life, like, just going in on me, y'all. Like, he was literally giving it to me, like, let me have it. And I was so speechless at the time, I couldn't even like react. As I look back at it now, I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I let this man talk to me like this. Like, boss or not, like, there's a way to talk to someone, like, period. Especially a woman. You're a man, and I'm a woman. I'm like 23 at the time. You're like 50. So you gotta just, you know, at the time I was like, but I was speechless. Looking back, I wish I would have like gave him a piece of my mind, but I'm saved, honey. I'm glad I didn't. I did right by not saying nothing. But he was like going in, y'all, and he was just like, stay in your lane. You work in promotions. You are not a personality. You will never be on my radio station, ever. And I was just like, okay. And he was like, do I make myself clear? And I was just like, okay, like, all right. And I just remember hanging up the phone. And I'm not gonna lie, I am a sensitive Sally. And not even just I'm a sensitive Sally, like, my feelings were like hurt, because I really felt like at that time, like, all of my dreams and like all the things that I believed that I could do were like over. Like, I felt like he just killed something in me. Like, he killed everything, like every ounce of confidence that I had in myself. He like killed that at that time. So I ended up like just crying. Like, I remember just like going to like the bathroom or something and just like crying. And I remember texting like my mentor at the time, who actually was a personality at that station as well. And I just remember texting him, and I was just like, I mean, I'm super sad because I was supposed to go back up there to the station that night to like shadow him or whatever. And I just remember texting him, just telling him that I wasn't gonna come up there, that, you know, the boss just went in on me. He just told me that basically I'm nothing and I will never be on air. I will never be on his radio station. He basically just killed my dream. And I remember my mentor just telling me, like, you know, don't listen to him. He's just mad. He's just angry. Like, don't listen to him. You know, you're still gonna be on air one day. Like, just basically trying to like make me feel better. But I mean, it did at the time. But the next day, I still felt like shit. And so later, like earlier that next day, you know, I had to go to work. I had to be at the radio station. So there was this like email, you know, we all were in this email, like all of the employees were in this email together. And they were basically saying like, you know, we have a meeting. And I was just like, oh shoot. Like at that time, I thought it was over for me. Like I thought I was going to get fired like at the meeting. That's why they were calling the meeting. So anyway, I went to the meeting the next day, and obviously like he addressed the situation again. Basically, he didn't really call me out in the meeting, but he did address the situation again, basically saying how there will be no more overnight voice tracking for anybody. And if you work in promotions, basically stay in promotions. And if you are in programming, stay in programming, or on air, stay on air. And if you work in sales, basically just, you know, he was trying to like low-key throw shade, but he basically was just telling everybody like, you know, no more voice tracking for overnight, and like no more. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like the meeting was over with. So boom. I think maybe like the next day I had like an event. I had like a remote. It was like a paid remote. And like I said, if you don't work in radio, you won't know what like a remote is. But basically a remote is just, how can I break this down? It's a paid event. People in sales, they go out and get like leads, and they go to like different businesses just to get advertising, like commercials, like to get businesses on air basically. And I had a remote, and I was scheduled to be at the remote at a certain time, and it was a paid remote. So the company, the place that I was going to, paid for on air ads, and they paid for us to be there, the station to be there, to, you know, bring more awareness to their business. Basically, that's what a remote is. And, you know, I was late. And I remember I wasn't intentionally trying to be late, like at all. Like, I just feel like everything that went wrong that whole week literally went wrong. And I was late. I remember like I ended up going to the wrong address. That's how I was late. I ended up like I got to the radio station on time because I was already on eggshells. So of course I wanted to be on time, but I remember getting to the radio station on time. I remember getting the keys to the station's vehicle, and I remember like vividly putting in the address that was on the schedule and going to it. And when I went to that address, it was the wrong address. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I remember texting my boss, and I was just like, I mean, I'm at the wrong place. Like, what's the right address? And I remember texting the sales executive, like, what is the address? Like the person who went and got that actual lead. I'm like, what is the right address? And I remember them sending me the right address. And I was like maybe 30 minutes away from the actual address. And keep in mind, I had to be there like, I think it was like maybe an 11 o'clock event. And it was like 10:50 at this point. And I was just like, oh my God, as if I need another mess up. So I just remember like just freaking out. So much anxiety. I just remember freaking out and just driving to the place. And I got there and I was late. And it was raining and I was rushing. And I was just like, oh my God, just praying like, please, please, please don't let me get in trouble. Like, please, like this is just an honest mistake. And not on my behalf. Like it was on the person who put the address on the schedule's behalf, like not mine. So I remember getting to the event. I remember walking, it was like a car dealership. And I remember walking into the car dealership, and I remember like talking to like the manager, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I'm late. I will stay as long as you need me to stay. You know, I'm gonna help bring you business. Like I'm gonna do what I came to do, like literally. And I'm not gonna lie, like I did what I came to do. I remember like posting a video on my Instagram, because you're supposed to post on social media when you're at these events. And I remember posting on my personal page me being at the event, and like I'll put the video up here. And I remember like just just doing my thing, y'all. Like, they loved me, and like they were like so appreciative of me. Like, I helped, like I literally got them a sale as I was at the event. Like, that's how like good I was doing. Like, that's how dope your girl was. And I remember like after that event, like I felt good. I was like, okay, maybe I redeemed myself, you know, like I redeemed myself. And so I remember like the next day, or I think a couple days went by, I remember them like acknowledging me at work, like the bosses at work. I remember like them acknowledging me, saying like, oh my God, you did so good. I saw your video. Like, that is how you are supposed to work at events. Like, that is what you're supposed to do. Like, what you did, that is exactly what you're supposed to do. You did so well. So I was like, cool, like I redeemed myself, like I'm good to go. I live to see another day. Day after that, I got a phone call. I was off this day actually, because me and my friend were planning to go out of town. So I was off this day. And I remember getting like a phone call from my boss. No, I think I got a text message from her, and I don't remember what the text message said, but she was like, can you come up here? And something in me just told me that it wasn't a good thing. Like, it was a bad thing. And I think I remember like that same day, like the day I got fired, I remember like it was yesterday. It was July 12th, 2018. I remember, y'all, like I literally remember it. And I remember like feeling some kind of way about the whole like situation. Like, I just had a feeling like things weren't, after like the main boss had like snapped on me. I just remember like feeling like nothing good was gonna come from there. Like, I just knew he hated me and he was just out to get me. And like that same day that I got fired, like before I got fired, I just remember like feeling like, I don't know, like I just really felt like I needed to start like branching out and just doing other things, like to get myself out there as far as like being in the media and entertainment industry. But anyway, I got that phone call from my boss, the promotions director, and she was just like, well, I didn't answer actually. I remember not answering it, because after I had read that text, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, no, I'm not gonna answer this phone. Like, I'm off today, like, no. And I didn't even like think I was gonna get fired, because I mean, you have to go through steps. You don't just get fired. Like, you get written up 3 times. Like, and at the time I had never got written up. Actually, I probably had got written up maybe once for like being late or something, but you have to get, like, there are steps to getting fired. You can't just get fired like out of the blue without a reasoning. And I just remember her calling me, and she left me a voicemail, and she basically was just like, Rachel, your services are no longer needed. Turn in your key, and you know, we wish you the best. And I was just like, are you serious? And me and my boss were like close, at least I thought we were. So the fact, and I wasn't blaming her, because I'm sure it wasn't her decision to make. I'm sure it was the guy, the operations manager. I'm pretty sure he told her to do it. I'm pretty sure, you know, it was his say. Like, I'm pretty sure it was, because like I said, it was without a warning. I didn't get written up. Like, I didn't see it coming. And I just remember like being in like, I was so shocked. I held it together because I was going out of town. But I was just so shocked. I couldn't believe like that had happened to me, like literally through a voicemail, like not in person. I didn't go through the actual protocol before being fired. I just got fired just out of nowhere. And it didn't really sink in until like days later. And I cried about it, and it was like a very, very rough time. Like, that was a very, very rough time. Like I said, this was July the 12th, 2018. This was a very, very rough time. Like, I literally like just went into this really deep depression after that, because working in radio was always my dream, and it was just, for it to be taken away from me so quick, without a warning, like without any form of warning, like, hey, you know, just nothing. And it really, really, really put me in a bad place, y'all. Like, I was really, really depressed, like maybe for like the next year. Like, after that day, I was depressed maybe like for a whole year. Luckily, before I was fired, me and one of my close friends, we were in the process, like, we already had our own podcast. So we were like in the process of trying to like transition ourselves into like media. personality, so I still had something going on outside of the radio station. That's why I always say create your own lane and build a name for yourself. That way these employers, they don't define you. They don't define who you are. Like, you have your own name, your own identity outside of these employers. That's why I always say that. Create your own lane. Like, that is the moral of the story. But it's still like affecting me pretty bad. And like 3 years later, like, you know, it is what it is. Like, I've really like grown, and I've gotten like plenty opportunities, better opportunities since me being fired. Like, I've learned a lot while I was there. You know, I'm grateful for that whole experience. You know, I still put it on my resume, but that, I did not let it define me. Like, as time went on, I grew from that. And I'm so glad that I'm at a point in my life now that I can even talk about it, you know? Like, now I look back and I'm just grateful that God got me out of that situation, because right after they fired me, like, everything just started going downhill, and that ain't none of my business. I'm not gonna speak on it. For the person who decision that was to make, like, I'm not bitter, you know. I hope he's doing good in his life. But I just want to let him know that baby, you didn't stop nothing. Like, you didn't stop nothing. I am who I am. I'm still standing. I still got many opportunities. I've been on radio stations. I've had my own radio show in Atlanta. Like, I've like become a whole better person. So that particular incident did not define me overall. That concludes this video. Basically, the moral of the story for everybody out there watching, even if you don't even work in radio, if you're just working like at Target, like wherever, like, don't let these jobs define you. And if that's just not your goal, like if it's not your passion to be doing what you're currently doing, still, you know, make your money, do what you got to do at your job, but have something going in your own lane too. That way, if you do get fired, you know, it's nothing. Like, okay, it's nothing. I got my own business anyway, you know? So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel, and, you know, just stick around because I got more videos coming, okay? Love y'all.